Okay, I'm back. This one, like I said, is going to be really short and sweet. Um, there's a story in the Old Testament in 1 Samuel that you can read about a lady named Abigail. And um, the Bible says that Abigail was of beautiful countenance. So she was a very beautiful woman. But not only was she beautiful, she was really smart. Um, it tells us that she was married to a man named Nabal. And basically, this guy was a jerk. He was full of himself. Um, and he obviously wasn't very bright. Um, but in this story, Nabal makes David angry. And David had tried to be nice about it to begin with, but when he got the response from Nabal, he and his 400 mighty men were coming to destroy and wipe out Nabal and all of his people because David was furious. And so Abigail finds out that David is coming, and without her husband's knowledge, she gathers up food and wine and all this stuff, and she goes out away from the property, and she meets David on the road. And when David comes upon her, she falls at his feet and she begs him not to destroy Nabal and his people because he's an idiot. But she is very smart, and she explains to David that, not everyone that he was going to destroy thought like Nabal. So she gives them food and drink, and she appeases David's anger. And she goes back home, and the king is really impressed with her. I mean, because David was king at this point, but he's really impressed with her because if he had continued on the line of thinking that he was in, which was anger, how many times have we been, done something that we were going to regret, said something, did something that was awful, and we would not have done it if we hadn't been angry, but we were angry. So he's angry, and she saves him from doing something he later would have regretted. But so she returns home, and the next day, after all the liquor wears off of her husband, she tells him what she did. And when she does, it says that his heart died within him and he became as stone. And then 10 days later, he died. I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know if that means he had a heart attack or that he had a stroke or what, but whatever it was, within 10 days, he was dead. But David thanked God that he had spared everyone due to Abigail and her fast thinking and her actions. And he was so grateful that he returned and took Abigail as his wife. He was grateful to have her. Basically, you have a lesson that is learned from Abigail. She was married to an evil man, but she didn't let the man's evil change her into something evil as well. She allowed God to still use her, and her kindness. No. Her spirit was still kind, and she cared for others, and otherwise she would have had to pay for her husband's poor behavior. She was humble, and she submitted herself to David and his men when they came. And she knew that they came with every intention of destroying Nabal and everything that was his. And that would have included her and all of her servants. And these people were innocent. It's not their fault that the man that they served was an evil man. The other thing that was good about Abigail is she used her intelligence, not to be cunning or do something that was sneaky, but to be helpful and useful. She didn't try and manipulate David with her beauty, which she probably could have, because the Bible talks about how beautiful she was. But she used her mind to come up with a solution rather than just relying on attraction. David had many wives. There's not a reason that he would have needed another one. Please hold on for 1 second. By all means. If you want to read about Abigail, go to 1 Samuel chapter 25, and you can read her story. She doesn't have a lot in there. That's the reason why this is so short. But you can read the story about how all of this got started and how this intelligent, beautiful woman was able to stop the destruction of many innocent people by using her brain. And most likely, God led her to do what she did. Evidently, David had a heck of a temper. So anyway, she was able to appease that and find favor in his sight by using her mind and by keeping him from doing something silly. And then later he married her. So if you have any questions about Abigail, you can refer to that part of the Bible, or you can give me a shout. Maybe we can talk about it. But that is the story of Abigail. I believe in the studying I did, I only saw maybe one son from Abigail that was listed, but I don't know how accurate what I was looking at was. So, if you find out that there were more, I'd love to hear about it, because David had several sons. So anyway, you guys have a blessed day. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you.